it's 12 midday on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the bulletin. Coming up this afternoon, residents in the Asante Agyemang North constituency demand clarity over the detention of the Member of Parliament Kwame Frimpong at the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. Also this afternoon, Minister for Roads and Highways directs the Ghana Highway Authority to begin processes to terminate the Bogoso-Prestia Road reconstruction contract over the contractor's alleged lack of commitment to the project. Later in the bulletin, over 50,000 candidates begin WASI as Ghana returns to common WAEC calendar. We have details of these and more in the next 30 minutes. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin here. The reported detention of a Member of Parliament for Asante Agyemang North, Kwame Frimpong, has sparked debate across political and legal circles, despite authorities yet to officially disclose the reasons behind the action. Parliament has since acknowledged the incident in a brief statement, confirming awareness of the MP's arrest and calls go for clarity and due process. Some reports have linked the arrest to ongoing investigations by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, over alleged financial crimes committed several years ago. The development is raising broader questions about parliamentary privilege, accountability, and the handling of high-profile arrests involving public officials in a foreign jurisdiction. In a moment, we'll go live to the MP's constituency to gauge reaction from residents and supporters amid growing uncertainty surrounding the case. But let us speak to Dr. Rashid Rahman. He is the Executive Director, Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Doc, thank you as always for your time on the bulletin. For what concerns arise when a certain MP is reportedly arrested without immediate public discourse of the reasons behind the actions? What are the concerns that arise when it happens like this?
Well, I mean, first of all, what happens is that there is a dent on the reputation of Parliament. Second, there is a dent on the reputation of our country, the image of our country. And then thirdly, because we don't know exactly why, it leads to all kinds of speculations that further dent the image of our country and the image of Parliament. And then I think the image of the MP himself. So full disclosure, full transparency, I think helps in guiding the discussion and then in making sure that at least if there is anything that Parliament can do now and in the future, we'll begin to have that conversation.
Doc, Parliament has acknowledged the arrest in a brief statement. In your view, what role should Parliament play in situations involving the arrest or investigation of one of its members? It looks like, if we don't know whether Parliament has details or not, but they are also not forthcoming with details on the arrest and all of that.
I think I would advise them, the earlier they act transparently and share the information, I think the better it is for us, because eventually he's in a jurisdiction where information is going to be made public, because this is not a country where they shield anybody, less so, I mean, a foreign national. So eventually it is going to become public. So the earlier Parliament releases whatever they know, I think the better it is. In terms of what they can do, I think they can only cooperate.
Yeah.
They can't influence anything in that country. There's a recent example, a sitting senator from Nigeria and a very influential figure in Nigerian politics was detained in England. He's currently in jail. There was nothing that the country could do. There was nothing that the Parliament of Nigeria could do. Because once there's a criminal offense and it's happening in a jurisdiction that is outside where the member of parliament sits, then I guess the law runs its course up to the final end. And that was what happened in the case of that Nigerian senator. In this case, we don't know yet. It could be an immigration offense. It could be even an offense that he committed on a flight, because I've been on flights, particularly to Amsterdam once, when somebody was picked up. The security guys came on the plane and said that during the flight, it was a 9-hour flight from Vancouver to Amsterdam. They said during the flight, a particular person offended somebody who was seated next to him. They came in and picked him up before we all disembarked. It could be an instance like that. We don't know. So Parliament should do us a favor by making sure that all that they know is made public so that we can engage in a meaningful discussion, because I believe there might be much bigger systemic discussions that we need to engage in, and perhaps maybe this could trigger some reforms in terms of who qualifies to go to Parliament, what kind of screening is needed, and what kind of background checks are needed, and so on, for potential members of Parliament before they get into Parliament, and then things like this happen.
Doc, so the other bit is that we know that he's been arrested. Yes, it opens room for conversations, and there's that tendency for the public trial or social media trial where people are now going to make their own conclusions of what has happened, and then even convict him already, though he's not being convicted or he's not being prosecuted. In this instance, how should we manage the conversations around the arrest so that it doesn't lead to social media or the public already convicting him before he's even accused of anything?
Yes, so I think, in fact, that's a very important point that you have raised.
Right.
Unfortunately, the only thing that can stop this speculation is having transparency in the release of information. Because, you see, social media today is very, very uncontrollable. I mean, there's no law that can control the way people interpret and share information. You close here, another one opens. It's like an octopus. So I think in order to avoid the conviction of this person before he's even found guilty or not, transparency is what will do it. And I call on Parliament to ensure that, the image of the individual, the image of the institution, and the image of our country, it's not further dented, because once there's no information, everybody is holding a different kind of opinion. The 33 million or so Ghanaians, everybody would have an opinion. And some would hold it, some would go viral. And that's the trial that you are talking about. The only way is to make sure. And I would guess in more than 24 hours. At this point, maybe Parliament might have some further details if they didn't have it in the first instance.
Right.
Because if somebody from 3FM is arrested and they are communicating to your management, I believe the police would indicate why that person is arrested. And I would suppose that in this case, maybe that might be the case. And because also there's another jurisdiction that is involved, there is no shielding. So if Parliament has information, or if anybody has information, let them share it.
Right.
So that
Doc, my last one, the arrest in a foreign jurisdiction, what kind of collaboration are we expecting, or should we see between Ghana and authorities in Netherlands?
I think
Doc, I'm losing you. It looks like the line is giving up on us. No, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, Doc.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I think it might be better now.
Oh.
It is still not.
Hello?
Doc, I'm sorry we have to maybe truncate our conversation. I can't hear you at all, but thank you so much for sharing what you've already told us. We've been speaking with Dr. Rashid Rahman. He is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. I'm sure we'll connect with him in our subsequent bulletins and bring you that complete conversation. Also because this arrest is still now developing and we're looking forward to fresh information coming from Parliament as well as all the other authorities that might be concerned. Now, let's take you to the Akyem North constituency, where constituents are demanding further details surrounding the detention of their Member of Parliament, Ohene Kwame Frimpong. Despite the uncertainty, many residents remain hopeful about his return. William Evans Inkum has been in Agogo, where he spoke with some constituents. Let's listen to them.
Manone esi oduru ho no na de yankobugu ni sa na nwanwa mareho se yampia owo Asante Akyem North ha na so na kwesela kra ne wo ha ya wo che entima che no ma na ekoba se de mimi nku de me de wo fosi a mitibontoli ase ayemi ya pa na menti ase eti no sato no ka se owo san de be se bia no mo san me ya swate bibi am phone so ya me hwe ayie me hu se ya chi no na nkopuguru nsa ne nipa ya me benkuri ni fa.
You had some residents there in the Asante Akyem North constituency who are demanding clarity about the arrest of their Member of Parliament. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. Let's move away from the Asante Akyem North constituency and talk about Wasi, because more than 500,000 candidates across Ghana have begun writing the 2026 West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination, Wasi, with the theory papers officially getting underway today. This year marks Ghana's return to the common West African examination calendar for the first time in 5 years, a move the Ghana Education Service says will help reduce the cost of administering a separate national examination timetable. Candidates today sat for oral English, while officials from the GES and WAEC are touring centers nationwide to monitor compliance and guard against examination malpractice involving candidates, invigilators, and school authorities. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan has been with one of the monitoring teams and now joins us with the latest. Crosby, students have written oral English today to mark the beginning of the exam. What have they been telling you about how the exam went and their expectations?
Grace, they are excited. So those I engage with relieved. You know, it's the first paper they are writing in terms of theory. So there was some levels of tensing, some anxiety and all of that. After the exam, a lot of them are relieved. They like how the paper went, and that it has raised their expectations in terms of the performances they expect themselves to be able to put up in the coming days for the rest of the papers. They are excited, and they hope that with how good or how easy this oral English paper was, it continues for the rest of the exam. I engaged with them, and they told me that they are expecting to keep up the same energy they used to write today's exam. They touched on invigilating and their levels of preparedness. We can listen to them.
It was English roles. We heard the words clearly and were able to answer them what we gave it. Yes. How it started, we started very nice. So I wish and I hope to continue on a nice note. I expect excellence because I've been studying from Form 1 up to this level. So I would like to pass and pass very well to make myself and my school proud.
It was good, much better than I expected. I expected it to be a bit tricky, but it wasn't so tricky.
All thanks be to God, the exams was fine.
We didn't expect it to be like this. We were thinking it would be very strict, like very difficult to the extent that we can't even write. The invigilators will be very strict on us, but it wasn't like that. They were very nice to us.
Did they intimidate you or anything?
Oh no, they were very...
Did they help you in any way?
Oh no.
Well, Crosby, we've listened to the students and it looks like they were excited about the oral English paper. We know the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Hammoah Agyemang, has also been touring some schools. What has she observed? Crosby, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Grace.
Right. I was asking, you've also been with the Deputy Director General of the GES. What has she also been telling you observed?
She visited 2 schools, Grace. The Accra Girls Senior High School was the first school she and her team visited us. Then, later, they paid a visit to Accra High Senior High School. Her observations were that the exam is progressing smoothly. The students are in high spirits and they are happy to be writing the exam. She engaged with the students, cautioned them against examination malpractice, congratulated them on the milestone they have achieved so far, and then urged them to put up their best in writing the exam. She also touched on concerns about examination malpractices and invigilators, amongst others, telling the students not to be open, not to allow anybody sway them with foreign materials and all of that, and then encouraging the invigilators as well, the teachers, that they should be careful not to be engaging in examination malpractice because they will be found, they will be punished, and they will be convicted. And they also mentioned how important it is for Ghana to be writing this particular exam, this year's exam, and Ghana is writing it with all other African countries. African countries are rather WASI examination. In 5 years, he says, this is the first time we have returned to the same timetable or the same calendar. So he translates this to say that Ghana has saved a huge amount of money, because if Ghana were to organize it on its own, Ghana would pay some huge sums of money.
Right, Crosby, let's listen to her quickly.
WASI started successfully with practicals a month ago, but today we are starting with the theory, that is oral English. So we started this morning with Accra Girls, and we are here in Accra High to ensure that everything is moving on well. In Accra Girls, you can see that the girls are in high spirit and ever ready. We have smart turnout invigilators. But during the BEC, we still had issues of examination, more practice that we are not happy about. Country, a lot of money. But our Honorable Minister, our Director General, and all of us, including YA, we worked very hard. After 5 years, this is the first time that we are writing WASI with other West African countries.
You've been listening to the Deputy Director of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Hammoah Agyemang, GC. Let's move away from education now. The Roads Minister, Agyemang Gavin, has directed the Ghana Highways Authority to begin processes to officially terminate the Bogoso-Prestia Road reconstruction awarded Black Oak developers. This is due to failure of the contractor to mobilize and fully commence work on the 18.7-kilometer stretch and critical access roads of up to 10 kilometers. Residents in the 2 Western Region mining towns are agitated over the deplorable nature of the road. While inspecting the project Tuesday night, the minister accused the contractor of not showing commitment in executing the contract.
Yeah, he said you haven't given him the design.
No, we have given him a line diagram because
and it's an existing road. What design is he looking for?
Some base and base, no design. Some base and base, what design do you expect? With the line diagram, everything is clear. I'm
telling you, fill here,
yes,
cut here, put the culvert here, put the drain here. So that has been given to him.
This is the highway in the region. Who told him to stop?
You tell me. No, I've not told him to stop.
So they are not on site after the clearing. And that is their reason why they are not on site, because they don't have drawings.
And the company is?
Black Oak.
Yeah. To be honest, because of this, because this is not any big issue. he got this job. He's been persuaded on countless occasions. He came there to the office with a member of parliament. The Nananum have spoken, encouraging him, and he's done less than 1% so far. He doesn't show the commitment to do the work. So the chief executive will activate the necessary processes to officially terminate and get somebody else who is capable.
You've been listening to the Roads Minister, Gavin Agbojade. Let's just stay with issues of Big Push. And the Techiman Ayensu Wenchi Road is a primary transit route linking southern Ghana to its northern regions and neighboring Sahelian countries. Its strategic importance cannot be overstated. Though awarded to contracts under the Big Push in 2025, its execution has stalled, posing significant threat to commuters. Belinda Tete has more in this report.
For motorists and passengers who use this route regularly, the deteriorating state of the road has become a major source of worry, with many describing the situation as dangerous and unbearable.
There has been a bridge here that collected the water from the river Atrensu into the other part that links up to river Subim. So apparently, as the work that has commenced, I think the bridge has been blocked. There's a blockade to that. And the tendency of water being overflowing and choking here, causing this road to cut off, is very high. We come to a point when this water accumulates here, it will cause this particular road to cut off. But there are a lot of potholes here. So most of the time we have registered instances of cars veering into the river here, motorcycles and motor kings that have landed here a number of times. So I think quite recently, if you check these communication wires, one of the cars veered the route and broke the pole. As you can see, I think it has not been maintained yet. So this particular place poses a lot of danger to drivers, pedestrians, and in the community at large.
Or plead with government to let the contractor start work with immediate effect. The assembly member for the area says repeated attempts to engage the contractor and ensure work progresses according to schedule have yielded no result.
The last time I did the follow-up to the place, they told me that they were still making things in place. In fact, they assured me that it was in March they were going to commence work. March passed, April passed, before we could see them doing site clearing. And so as of now, the last time I think they were looking serious doing this work, it was when Road Minister Agbojade happened to come around. And from that time up to now, I think things are beginning to come back to standstill.
During an inspection tour of ongoing Big Push infrastructure projects, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Govins Agbojade, expressed dissatisfaction with the contractor's failure to commence work in earnest, despite receiving a staggering 66 million Ghana cedis in mobilization fund following the award of the contract last year.
The contractor is Volta Impact, paid 66 million Ghana cedi mobilization, and you can see what they've done is just a little bit of clearing by the side of the road. This is unacceptable. If the contractor cannot do the work, over 5,000 contractors have registered to do Big Push. So we can always go to the next competent person who is interested in following the project according to what the president expects.
Meanwhile, the regional minister has assured residents and commuters that government will intensify direct supervision of the project site to ensure work resumes without further delay.
And I'm assuring the minister and the entire community that monitoring will be strengthened. And I promise them that this project would definitely yield result.
In the Bono and the Bono East regions, the Big Push Infrastructure Initiative has committed a total of approximately 551.1 kilometers of roadwork across several major lots, with the Bono region holding the largest share of investment, largely due to the massive trans-border corridor towards Côte d'Ivoire. Jinijini to Sampa Road, 80 kilometers, has been awarded to Rango Consortium Limited. The Techiman Nkosia Wenchi Road has been awarded to Volta Impex. The Sunyai Outer Ring Road has been awarded to Kofi Job Company Limited. The Brekum Sekwa Road has been awarded to J.A. Adum Limited. Wamfie to Gambia Number 2 upgrade has been awarded to SG2 Trust Limited. The Sampa Duadaso to Kokwa Road has been awarded to Manap Company Limited, and Wenchi to Solar Road has been awarded to MSC Way Ghana Engineering Limited. The ministry has emphasized that 87% of the Big Push project has been intentionally awarded to Ghanaian contractors to build local capacity. However, the ministry has made it clear that local preference is not a shield for incompetence. Firms that fail to meet the milestone after receiving mobilization funds face immediate termination to protect the public purse. Belinda Tete, TV3 News.
And in the Volta region, significant work has been done on the Akachi North section of the Ho Aflao Road following the commencement of construction works on the stretch in the latter part of 2025. The portion, which forms part of government's Big Push initiative, is expected to be completed ahead of the 24-month schedule to ease vehicular movement. Correspondent Faisal Abdul Idrisu reports.
The Akachi North stretch of the Ho Aflao Road constitutes Lot 7 and 8A under the Big Push initiative. The portion is a total 25 kilometers being undertaken by Timeline Innovations. Work began on the stretch in December 2025, with portions of it already receiving asphalt. Despite the significant progress, residents in communities along the stretch are asking authorities to ensure quality and durability. At a point, commercial vehicles stopped using the road because of the bad nature of the road. It was very difficult for us to travel. But now that work has begun, things are already improving. We are thankful. But we want the road minister to come here and inspect the progress of work. Because sometimes when we tell them things we think are not being done well, they don't even mind us.
We are much impressed about the road network that is, ongoing from Ho to Aflao. So we as our Fiadenimba community have a concern. Our concern is about the U-drain that are being constructed on the road. Yes, when we met with the contractor and then the project manager, we were told that there are some parts that will be U-drain. If the U-drains are not, constructed around those areas, when they are done with the road and then they go, maybe the rain or the flood can actually make it wear or spoil the road.
President Mahama in September 2025 cut short to mark the beginning of the Big Push initiative in the Volta region, including the construction of the 117-kilometer Ho Aflao Road. The road is considered an economic corridor linking the southern part of the region to Ho and beyond.
When they're talking of the two most economic cities in Volta region, Ho and Aflao, a highly economic road is a road that helps to speed up trade and industry.
Though the project is scheduled to be completed in 24 months, the project manager of the company said they are working to deliver ahead of schedule.
We have done the binder, asphalt binder, which is the first layer of asphalt, and will be followed by the second layer, which is the wearing course. And the wearing course is 40 millimeter thick, and then the binder is 60 millimeter thick. But before then, we did a crash rock base, which is 200 thick, and with a sub base, which is 150 millimeter thick. When it cures, we channel the traffic to this particular binder, and then probably we concentrate on the other side. We intend to complete it less than 24 months.
Construction of the Ho Aflao Road will not only be a fulfilled campaign promise by the NDC government, but a major road infrastructure that will boost trade and movement in the region. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Faisal Abdul Idrisu bringing us an update on the Big Push Road project also in the Volta region. Before we go, barely 2 weeks after alleged brutalities by security forces on the Adelso community in the Western region, Irama Smith is in the community to assess the extent of damage and how the community is coping. The incident is reported to have involved officers of the 2nd Infantry Battalion stationed at Apremdo in Takrade, which has triggered widespread anger among teachers, particularly in the Wasawes district, where some educators claim they were assaulted and humiliated. Irama Smith is on the line. She joins us live. Irama, you have been to the community. Talk to us about your observations so far.
Well, typical of such communities, they are threatening of spiritual attributions, that is cursing, and then they are also calling for a thorough investigation into this assault because they suspect that those who came here are not from the security forces. They were some individuals who actually dressed themselves in camouflage to give the impression that they are security forces to come and cause this havoc. So they want a thorough investigations into it, and then those found culpable sanctioned.
Ngofra ba ye de mani anya ho kura fi se metem nya bofra na mentum gwa menka se ekomu no bangwa dibone abra ekomu no ye hina ye timo eye because ekoba okame na masasu maka se bangwa no bangwa dibone dabi na etire ba tisha me so refrem ni de ono metu ha me dia se kura atire so kura na ma de hye me bag me ba na de ni nim ifre po hye bag me ba no ani diploma so na asem se ye no ya ready say ye bobodia. There is a bobodia, it was almost a life. The bobodia pa, it's no, say, weba, if you are born so baba, maybe you say, you didn't have or grave force. There's a manager for being made to cow, I saw what is master and over patch, but you know, you're a grave for Nassim. When you been a boys where I'm so Robin Muno walk and answer what you a bobodia. Say in this guy, a bobodia.
You had Eramas reports there from Apremdo, but that will be it for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Thank you for joining us. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. We have business coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, government targets 70% 5G population coverage by Independence Day 2027. We'll hear from Sector Minister Samuel Nate George.
We want to have 70% population coverage of 5G by Ghana's 70th Independence Day celebrations in March 2027.
Meanwhile, Telecom Chamber bemoans members spent millions repairing rising fiber cuts across the country.
Just around 400 cuts. We're experiencing over 8,000 cuts per annum when it comes to fiber cuts, which is increasingly a strain on our operators' resources.
Plus, government considers new IMF monitoring program to sustain economic recovery after bailout ends in 2026. I am Bismarck. I will bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Please stay. Thanks for your company. This is Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Now, government has set an ambitious target to achieve 70% 5G population coverage by Ghana's 70th independence anniversary in March 2026. Communications Minister Samuel Nate George says the rollout will follow a competitive spectrum allocation process designed to expand connectivity while protecting investment in the telecom sector. He was speaking at the 15th anniversary launch of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications in Accra.
Spectrum is a finite national resource, as stated by the Director General in his remark. How we plan, price, and award it will shape whether Ghana captures the full economic and social value of 5G. It will also affect our readiness for future technologies. Cabinet has taken a policy decision. We support the recommendations from the regulatory assessment of the 5G exclusivity provisions. Spectrum allocations will now follow a competitive national bidding process. We will keep the wholesale framework, so market players will have multiple complementary pathways to roll out next generation services. Ladies and gentlemen, the NCA is following due process to ensure there is fairness to all the affected licensees. But our target is unambiguous. We want to have 70% population coverage of 5G by Ghana's 70th Independence Day celebrations in March 2027. So 70% for Ghana at 70 is the vision. Spectrum is a finite national resource, as stated by the Director General in his remark. How we plan, price, and award.
And that was Communications Minister Samuel Nate George. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Sylvia Owusu-Ankoma, says the increasing number of fiber cuts across the country is putting significant pressure on telecom operators. According to her, huge resources that could have gone into expanding and improving network services are instead being used to repair damaged fiber infrastructure.
We've seen co-sharing, infrastructure sharing as a framework coming on board in the last 5-10 years as well. So operators are no longer just building their own routes, but they are sharing a lot of infrastructure. You go to, for any tower you can take, you would see that they are co-locating on the towers. They don't own their towers. Very few of them own a few critical towers, but the industry has been liberated to a large extent. And with that also comes the challenges that we see. So as I mentioned, just around 400 cuts. We're experiencing over 8,000 cuts per annum when it comes to fiber cuts, which is increasingly a strain on our operators' resources and investment that could have been used to ensure new rollouts. You find them using to ensure they are meeting their coverage obligations, their quality obligations by repairing those fiber cuts.
And that was Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Sylvia Owusu-Ankoma. Now, government is considering a new monitoring arrangement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, after Ghana's current bailout program ends in August 2026, in a move aimed at sustaining economic recovery and maintaining investor confidence. The arrangement will not only involve fresh IMF funding, but also expected to help Ghana stay on track with economic reforms and fiscal discipline after exiting the current support program. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk report. Information gathered indicates that the move is aimed at sustaining Ghana's economic recovery and reassuring investors and development partners that the country will continue to maintain fiscal discipline even after the IMF program ends. Unlike the current bailout program, the new arrangement will not come with direct financial support from the IMF. Instead, it is expected to serve as a monitoring and policy support framework to help government stay focused on economic reforms, control spending, and maintain macroeconomic stability. Sources say government also believes the arrangement could help improve confidence in the economy and support efforts to keep ministries and state agencies aligned with the country's fiscal recovery program. There are indications that an official announcement could be made in the coming weeks or during the mid-year budget review. Meanwhile, IMF officials are currently in Ghana for the 6th review of the ongoing program. Discussions are focusing on Ghana's fiscal performance, challenges in the energy sector, and progress made in the banking sector. Ghana is expected to pass the review in August this year, paving the way for another tranche of IMF support under the program approved in 2023. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on government considering new IMF monitoring program to sustain economic recovery after bailout ends in 2026. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Outside some other stories, Ghana's tourism sector is stepping into a new era with the launch of several digital products and services aimed at modernizing how travelers experience the country. During the unveiling, CEO of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Professor Kobi Mensah, highlighted a fundamental shift in traveler behavior that makes this digital leap essential. According to Professor Mensah, the new tourism is built on 3 core pillars that the GTDC is now addressing through technology, digital discovery, sustainability, and data-driven decisions.
The behavior of the tourist has completely changed, all right? The tourist would always go online to search for the destination they are going to, all right? 2, we're talking about sustainability. 3, we're talking about data. Now, these fundamentals of the new tourism means that we couldn't actually do tourism as we used to do. And that's why the introduction of technology is very important. And that's why you see us move straight into digital platforms where we think that we can be sustainable, we can be data-driven, and then, of course, we can actually respond directly to the final tourism consumer. Entrepreneurship Hub, where we're going to use it to train people, to skill, to upskill people. Those who want to create enterprises in tourism, they will come there for advice, they will consult experts, etc. That's just about finishing. So, as for the product, we have amazing, product that we have adored, and I'm sure that it would actually lead to a very good, tourism market.
You heard Chief Executive of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Professor Kobi Mensah, bringing us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Black Rasta is here for Urban Blend. Please stay.